Hello there beautiful people and welcome to The Simple Life. My name is El and in today's episode I want to take a look at one of my favorite summer appetizers. We're making calamari. So I want to talk about squid. I can see how it's very intimidating for a lot of people. It's often served at the more fancy side of restaurants and it's not really that publicly available as like a steak or a chicken breast. It cooks very differently to other meats. You have a very thin line between raw, perfectly tender, and just 1 second later it's overcooked and rubbery. And I still to this day struggle with things like grilled squid. And the beauty of this dish is, it is one of the very few recipes where cooking time is actually accurate. A lot of recipes, for example for a steak, call for cooking a 2 centimeter piece of steak for like 7 minutes both sides. And that varies wildly from cut to cut and from the particular steak. The beauty of squid, however, is no matter if it's like half the size of my tube or like triple that, the actual walls where the meat is, they always kind of stay in the same size and therefore it cooks very evenly. I want to talk about how to source your squid. First off, anyone who's trying to sell you fresh squid and you're not living in like a direct bay area, I would step away from that because the reality of logistics is it's probably not going to be fresh. It's probably going to be frozen right when it's caught. And if they sell it in the supermarket, in like the fish area, it's defrosted again. So you're going to get a fresher product being frozen right away. So this right here is a clean squid tube. That means there's usually an outside skin and that has been removed and the squid itself has been washed. Also, there's like a plastic skewer on the inside and sometimes they don't get that out while cleaning, so always double check for that. It looks something like this. Right? Like these little things, that's the stuff that's inside of the squid that's usually holding its shape upright. You could do the same recipe with the tentacles on, but they cook kind of differently to the tubes. That's why I bought them without, but you could totally do it with that. So with no further ado, let's get going with the recipe.
Starting off by cutting our squid tubes in about 2 to 3 centimeter thick rings. If you're working with tentacles, just cut off any of the overly long tentacles and split the head in half so it cooks more evenly. For our dredge, we need 2 bowls, one of which we're filling with milk and whisking in kosher salt. You could also use eggs for your dredge to stick to the squid, but I found milk makes a lighter and more delicate final product. Dip your squid into your milk and let marinate for a few minutes. That way, the salt seasons the squid a lot more evenly than otherwise possible. Next up, we're filling our second bowl with flour and baking powder, which will make a very crunchy and airy crust later on. And for some added spice, we're grinding some fresh black pepper. Mix so everything is well incorporated and toss the squid in your flour mixture. You're just looking to thinly coat the squid. This is supposed to be delicate and light, so avoid any clumps of flour sticking to the squid. Shake off any excess dredge and set to a wire rack for about 10 minutes. By letting the squid rest, we allow the flour to fully hydrate. That way there won't be any excess that's just falling off in the fryer and we get a more crunchy and flavorful crust. In the meantime, we're heating up our frying oil to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. We're frying in 2 batches so we don't overcrowd our pan. Set a timer and fry them for exactly 3 minutes on high heat. You will see the heat initially drops as the squid lowers the temperature of the oil. But as I said before, the thin tubes make for very consistent cooking times. 3 minutes later, you should see your squid is lightly golden brown and our crust has puffed up from the baking powder. You want to dry off the excess oil on a paper towel and set them in a low oven to keep warm while we take care of our second batch. And there we have our calamari. Let's just add a few lemon slices for presentation. And let me tell you, these are seriously crunchy. Don't believe me? Just listen. They're beautifully light and they have that delicate crunch while being super tender on the inside. I'm definitely a huge fan of drowning seafood in lemon, which makes this super bright and zesty. They are very delicious and frying calamari just brings out this very unique and intense squid flavor. You either hate it or love it, and I truly love it. Let me know, have you ever tried squid? And what's your favorite way of eating it?
You've made it to the end of the video. What an achievement. I know, right? You can check my latest video out right up here. And a little secret, just between you and me, that one right here, hand selected just for you. I assure you, great humor, insane production value, you're gonna have a blast. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next video.